Hey everybody! Okay, so today we are learning how to draw a face. And if I'm being honest with you, it's kind of hard. I've spent many years drawing faces and trying to do my best to get them to turn out the way I want. And it can be tricky at times, and there's definitely days where I look at mine and I'm like, I might need to work on that some more. People are just hard to draw. But anyway, so we're gonna try it out today. I have my notes here at the bottom, and this is my little example for you all before we get started. As you can see, it doesn't have shading. I will be showing you how to do that in the next video. But for today, we're just gonna focus on simplifying drawing a face and yeah, working on that. So before we start, just a few things that you'll need. First of all, make sure you got your paper. I would not recommend like any paper that has a rough surface. I'm sure most of you all are probably using copy paper like me, but try to steer away from those. They can be hard to erase, and for starting out, we just want to use the copy paper. Another thing, this is my personal preference. I like a number 2 pencil for drawing. I've used lead pencils before, but just something about them does not work for me. So I would recommend you get a number 2 unless you really, really love lead pencils, and that's understandable. Everyone has a preference, but I work best with these, and an eraser. Sometimes you'll have a big boo-boo on your drawing and you need to erase it quickly. These get them off the best. Your regular erasers are cool until they're flat, and then you can't use them anymore. So for big jobs, I like to use this eraser. So anyway, I'm gonna get this set up and I'm gonna come right back and we're gonna get started. All right, here we go. So before we even start, it is very important to note, when you draw, you have to start light, especially when you have not drawn for very long or if you're a beginner. The reason why is usually with drawing, it's kind of like a trial and error. Like if you draw something and it looks funny, you want to be able to erase it and change it, because your drawing kind of has its own mind, I feel like, when I draw. And so when I draw something that I really like and compare it to what I've already drawn, I may change that to match that really successful thing I drew. But anyway, so try to draw as light as you can. I know some people have a heavy hand with pencils. I'm not one of those people, so I've never had that problem. But I know I've definitely had students in the past that are very heavy-handed, and we are spending forever trying to erase their papers. So just try your hardest to draw as light as you can, okay? For the purpose of this video, I'm going to draw a little bit darker than I normally would, just so you can see my pencil lines. All right, okay, I'm going to stop talking and draw. Our first step is to draw the shape of the head. This looks like an upside down egg. And what I mean by that is that the top is going to be a little bit wider than the bottom. So let me show you what I mean. Okay. Oh, I'm going to have to make that darker. Cannot see that. Okay. So do you see how this is a little bit more narrow than that top? And it's okay if it's not perfect. Like I said, we may change this completely at the end. It just depends on how it's looking on your end. But anyway, that's the first step. And I actually see something I want to change right now. Okay. Now we're going to draw kind of like a scale. And I know some of you all will be like, I cannot draw a straight line, but that doesn't really matter so much. It's just kind of to help you with proportions. So the first little mark we're going to make, we're going to kind of draw an imaginary line from the top of the head and put a mark. And then we're going to draw an imaginary line from the bottom of the chin and put a mark. And then this is going to be like our scale for our face. So we'll draw a line as straight as you can. Again, I've been practicing for forever, so my line, I say that, now watch me mess up. My lines can be pretty straight from practice. See, not perfect, it's kind of leaning. But it does not matter, because guess what? This is getting erased later. So it's okay if it's a little bit crooked, just do your best. And then between those lines, we want to find the middle and draw a mark there. So what I like to show people to do is take your fingers and make them meet in the middle. And that should kind of help you figure out where it is. Actually, that's a little bit high. But anyway, if you have trouble seeing it without doing something, take your fingers and make them meet in the middle so you can find it. Okay? All right. From this line, I'm going to try to lightly draw a line over like that. You see that? Let me make it darker. That's better. Yeah. So from that line, just try your best to draw it across. If it's crooked, again, it's okay. Not a big deal. And then I'm going to draw one final line kind of down the center of my face. And this might be the hardest part of drawing this grid because I don't really map this one out. I just go for it. If you need to erase and redo it a few times, that's okay. But I like seeing that little cross there. For my math people, it kind of looks like a grid, which is helpful. But anyway, so that's your little layout for your whole face, okay? Now we're gonna get into the actual drawing of the face. So, we're gonna start by drawing the pupils, which I know is a little bit strange because that's not usually the first thing we draw. But anyway, you're gonna draw 2 dots on either side of this and color those in. Try to do them as even as you can. I meant to kind of mess up the first time so I could show you that I would erase it. But that, you know, maybe I'll want to move this one over a little bit. If you draw it lightly, you can do that. If you draw it dark, then it's going to be there forever. You don't want that. Okay? So after we draw our pupils, we need to find where our nose is. We will come back to these. Don't think that this is it. We'll come back to these eyes here later, but we want to go ahead and kind of lay out our eyes, nose, and face. So we're going to find the middle between this mark here and this mark here. So I'm going to take my fingers, find that middle. That's right there. I can draw a line over here. And then draw, seems kind of low, hold on. There we go. And draw a U shape there. See guys, it's not always perfect the first time. You gotta erase and redo, and that's okay. Using my little eraser for this because it's not a big job. Okay, there's our U for our nose. And then finally we're going to draw kind of where the mouth is gonna go. Kind of like we've been doing, we're gonna find the middle of these 2 points. It's kind of easy to eyeball that one. And then I like to go a little bit above it. I know in other videos I've seen they go right there. But I think you need more of a chin than that. So I'll go across here. My line. I'm just going to put kind of up, tilted a little. I'll bring it closer so you can see. But not super. He's not really smiling, he's not really frowning, he's just kind of smirking. And you can kind of see where this lays out. Now, I know with my 7th graders last year, they were like, Miss Holt, this looks like an alien. Why is the forehead so big? Trust me, okay, this will turn into hair and it will not look weird anymore. But I know last year they were like, this is not right. And it does look weird, but you just gotta trust me, okay? All right. So we got our face laid out. So now we're gonna go through and finish all these features out. So we're gonna start back up at the eyes with them. And we're gonna create the top of the eye and then the eyelid. So on both eyes, they're gonna be like rainbow shapes. Oops, sorry, this went wonky. So I draw one here, one here. So that's the top of the eye. Try to make them as even as you can. May have to go back and fix them later. And then we do the eyelid parallel to it. And they're not intersecting. They're just parallel to each other. I will get closer so you can see. So this line here, top of the eye, I know it looks weird, we'll fix it. This line is your eyelid. Gotta have both. Okay? Make sure camera's clear. There we go. All right, got that. And then we're gonna draw the irises, and that is where your eye color is. That's that circle that goes around your pupil. So we're gonna start at the top of your eye, not the eyelid. Be sure to note that. But towards the top of the eye, I'm gonna draw some circles. If you have trouble drawing circles, just to kind of help you out, what I do is I just kind of lightly go in a motion like this until I see the one that's a good circle, and then I just darken that one, then I'll go back and erase those other lines later. But I know circles can be tricky, so if you struggle with that, just try that technique out. Okay? All right, and then last we are going to do the bottom of the eye here. I said last, but we have one more thing after that on the eyes. And I touch the iris, and I'll be honest, I don't ever connect them to the things here, top of the eye, in the beginning until I start shading, just because I think making them complete with the drawing looks too perfect almost. I know that sounds weird. But anyway, that's just my method. If you want to connect them, go for it. But I'll show you here. Mine don't go all the way to the end there. I just think it looks better for now until I shade. All right. And then finally, we're going to do eyelashes. So I don't really have a way of explaining these. I just kind of draw them. I know some of you all will do this. Do not draw straight up. They go at an angle, so they almost need to like curve out, and I will zoom in and show you. When I do this, they curve out. Okay, so I made that one really long so you could see it, but do not go straight up. That's not how eyelashes work. They curve. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get my camera back to normal. You all might see me doing this a lot. Okay, good. Okay. So, those look better, okay? Next, our eyes are done. We'll do our eyebrows later. Next is the nose. So, we have this U shape. And what you're gonna do is right next to the top of the U's, like the top ends, you're gonna draw kind of like a diagonal oval that's really tiny on both sides. I'll zoom in here in a minute. I would not suggest making them super big so far. I know this looks really funky right now, but that's what that looks like. Okay? And then beside those, we're gonna just draw, I call them parentheses, because that's basically what they look like to me. Not right on top of them, kind of give them some space. And I don't make them super, super curvy. But you draw those. Okay? Looking more like a person. And so we'll, add some more details to the nose when we shade in the next video, but we're gonna keep going. The next thing is the mouth. This is where I think a lot of people have trouble. I know for me, it takes me a while to get the mouth exactly the way I want it. But you're going to create kind of a U right here for the top of your lip. As you can see, I've not put very much space between those. I don't like to do super, super full lips when I'm practicing drawing. Sometimes because I think they look cartoony. And believe me, I know there's people out there that have beautiful, thick lips. But I think when you draw them, it's kind of hard to make them look real. So I start by drawing thin.